Did you know that it costs you about $20,000 more per year to live in San Francisco than to live in Los Angeles? We're going to break down the reasons why in this video, but first let's do a quick comparison between the two cities. They're both on the west coast of the United States and they're both oceanside cities, with San Francisco being a bay in Northern California and Los Angeles being in Southern California. They both have a ton of things to do and great job opportunities, and a lot of people that come from a ton of different nationalities and backgrounds. On the downside, both cities have pretty bad traffic. And for a few key differences between the two, Los Angeles is more than twice the land area of San Francisco and has more than 4 times the amount of people living there. It's got a population of around 4 million people, whereas San Francisco has a population of less than 900,000 people. One way that San Francisco has a leg up on Los Angeles is the public transportation system is great there. I would say it's definitely better than public transportation on Los Angeles, but that's mostly due to the layout of the cities. But when it comes to weather, Los Angeles definitely wins. One thing a lot of people don't think of when they think of San Francisco is fog, but if you move to San Francisco, you can expect to see over 100 foggy days every single year. My name's Pearce and I work on a real estate team in Los Angeles, helping people move from all over. And today we're going to look at the cost of living in San Francisco versus Los Angeles and break it down for you. Before we see how much it costs to live in these cities, let's take a look at how much people make in them. In Los Angeles, the average person makes about $5,200 a month after taxes, or about $62,000 a year. In San Francisco, the average person makes about $6,300 a month after taxes, or about $76,000 a year. This makes the average salary in San Francisco about 20% higher than Los Angeles. And the reason many people in San Francisco earn more is probably because they need to. The cost of living in San Francisco is about 25% higher. To put this in perspective, you would need about $8,600 a month in San Francisco to maintain the same standard of living as $6,800 a month would get you in Los Angeles. Another way to put this is it would cost you about $100,000 a year to maintain the same standard of living in San Francisco as you would get for about $80,000 a year in Los Angeles. When you look at it this way, it seems like a pretty significant difference, and I would say it definitely is. There are several reasons San Francisco is more expensive than Los Angeles, from things like grocery prices to the cost of rent. So let's compare the apartment costs for both cities. In San Francisco, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the center of the city is about $3,300 per month. In Los Angeles, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the center of the city is about $2,700 per month. That means when you're comparing monthly rents in the city centers, San Francisco is going to be about 27% more expensive than Los Angeles to rent a one-bedroom apartment. And let's say you're somebody who doesn't mind living outside the city center so you can save yourself a little bit of money. In San Francisco, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment outside the city center is about $2,700 per month. And in Los Angeles, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment outside the city center is only about $1,900 per month. That means when we're looking at one-bedroom apartments outside the city center, San Francisco's are about 37% more expensive than Los Angeles. And we can see similar differences when we're looking at 3-bedroom apartments in both cities. In San Francisco, a 3-bedroom apartment in the city center is going to run you about $5,800 per month, and a 3-bedroom apartment outside the city center is going to run you about $4,600 per month. While in Los Angeles, a 3-bedroom apartment in the city center is going to run you about $4,700 per month, and a 3-bedroom apartment outside the city center is going to run you about $3,600 per month. So I think this makes it pretty clear that the rents all around San Francisco are definitely higher than the rents in Los Angeles. And if you're looking to purchase an apartment instead of rent, the price to purchase an apartment in San Francisco is very steep as well. Of course, the price per square foot of buying an apartment is going to depend a lot on the exact area that it's in and many different details about the listing. But just for the sake of averages, the average apartment, when you take everything from the city center to outside the city center in San Francisco and put it all together, you're getting over $1,000 per square foot to buy an apartment in San Francisco. If you do the same thing in Los Angeles and take all the apartments from inside and outside the city center, and you average it all out, you're going to get about $750 per square foot to buy an apartment in Los Angeles. This makes the cost to purchase an apartment in San Francisco about 35% more than the cost to purchase an apartment in Los Angeles. Besides having more expensive real estate and rent, San Francisco is also going to add more of an expense to your grocery bill. If you live in San Francisco, expect to pay over 30% more on groceries than you would pay in Los Angeles. In particular, produce is a lot more expensive in San Francisco, with things like bananas costing almost twice as much as they do in Los Angeles. A couple basic reasons for this is just that the real estate is more expensive in San Francisco and the labor is more expensive in San Francisco because it's such a wealthy area. So it's actually going to cost grocery store owners more money just to run the business. Another example we can see is that a gallon of milk in San Francisco is almost $1.50 more than it is in Los Angeles. So all around, let's say if your monthly grocery bill was about $1,000 in Los Angeles, that same grocery bill would cost you about $1,300 in San Francisco. And it's not in just these major categories where we can see San Francisco being more expensive. If we take a look at private schools, for example, the average cost to send your child to daycare or preschool or elementary private school in San Francisco is about 50% higher than it is in Los Angeles. One example is the average cost to send your kid to preschool there is about $2,300 a month, whereas in Los Angeles it's only about $1,300 a month. And when we're looking at things like private elementary schools, you can expect to pay maybe even $13,000 more per year to send your kid to a private school in San Francisco. And then you can even see this pricing carry over into things like gym memberships and utility bills. Those are also going to be more expensive in San Francisco than in Los Angeles. It's not everything though. There's a few categories like clothing, gas, and eating out that are pretty similar in both San Francisco and LA. So not everything is more expensive there. Now, while Los Angeles does have some more expensive areas, especially if you're looking towards Westside LA, it's still generally a much more affordable place to live than San Francisco. Don't get me wrong, San Francisco is definitely very unique and it has a lot of things to offer, and Northern California is one of the most beautiful places in the United States. You also have things like the Golden Gate Bridge, of course, and then you have Alcatraz Island, which is super cool, but because of how expensive it is to live in the area, it's definitely not for everybody. In fact, raising a family is so expensive there that San Francisco is the most childless major city in the United States. There's about as many kids in San Francisco as there are dogs. And hey, I'm fine with that. I only got one kid right now and she's a little dog. I have to say, something that's great about Los Angeles is the amount of different living options you have available to you within the city. If you prefer to live in a more quiet area with larger lot sizes, you always have that as an option. But if you prefer more central city centers or oceanside living, you still have that as an option as well. So with that being said, the median home price in San Francisco is just over $1.5 million. And in Los Angeles, the median home price is just shy of $1 million right now, making homes in San Francisco about 50% more expensive. They're typically packed very close together, and here I'll show you an example of what homes in San Francisco might look like. Alright, so I filtered down to the median listing price here for San Francisco listings to show you. We got a good 7 or 8 of them listed here, and let's go to northern San Francisco and take a look at one of these. It's 1,300 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. And it's listed for 1.5, so just around that median price right there. And when you look at it, you can see these are the types of homes you're going to get. They're actually really cool in my opinion. I really do like them, and I think they're very unique. There's nothing quite like San Francisco, and this one's really nice and renovated inside. It's got some nice moldings and shades and things like that, but this is just kind of what you're going to get. It's going to be a tiny house. There's going to be less space to work with, and this is sort of similar to all the kind of homes you're going to get around San Francisco for that price. You go up here a little bit, and this one's a little bit more spacious at 2,100 square feet. But you could just see this is a little bit less of a desirable neighborhood, so you get a little bit more space. So there's that. And then here you have Los Angeles, and I filtered again, and I went towards the west side just to make sure that I'm being fair here. And if you take a look here, we got a house in the Hollywood Hills. It's a listing. It's 1,660 square feet. So it's still not huge, but it's a little bit more sizable than that first one we looked at. And you get a little bit just more space and privacy. Your neighbor is not directly connected to you. You get a little bit of a yard, even though this is the Hollywood Hills, so it's a comparable area. If we go take a look at another one here, let's say over in Studio City, which is another great area in Los Angeles. You have 2,400 square feet of living space in this one for around the same price as we were looking at. And here you're going to see you got all these amazing views, and you just definitely a lot more spacious of a house to live in, and definitely more privacy away from your neighbors. Just beautiful views. And here's another one right here, sort of on West Side Los Angeles. that's going to be a little bit smaller because it is sort of in that city center, but it's also very nice and renovated, and it's going to be around that same price range, of course. So that just gives you a little bit of idea of the different types of real estate you'll see between San Francisco and Los Angeles and what types of homes you're going to find. Once again, my name's Pearce and I work in a real estate team in Los Angeles, helping people relocate from all over. If you found any information in this video valuable, make sure to subscribe because I will be releasing weekly videos on what it's like to live in Los Angeles and its different neighborhoods.